To Talk to the Future, where the future of sales isn't predicted, it's built. Each episode features real conversations with the operators, marketers, and innovators driving what's next. From AI and automation to the strategies that are converting right now. No fluff, just what's working.
All right, Mr. Bigley coming here direct from LeadsCon in Las Vegas. I have Rich from Anura on the pod here with me. How did you get into security? And why did you decide to start building security?
Going back in 2003, my partner and I started an ad network. So think of Google way smaller, right?
Yep.
Just ability to buy ads. And early on, the clients loved the traffic. It was great. And then we started having some complaints about traffic quality.
What sort of complaints?
Well, the conversion rates were jumping, and they didn't know what was going on. They wanted us to figure it out. Because if I must want to know, what we can do to figure it out. So I told my partner, I said, you know what? I've seen this before. It's fraud. Let me just license a solution, because I want to make myself a fraud. Turns out the actual first fraud solution that was available would come out in 2009.
Really?
So I'm a developer. I said, you know what? I'll have to build something. Build something and solve the problem. And fraud keeps evolving, so I had to keep evolving it. Later on, about 10 years later, I had clients asking me, if not begging, to use it outside of our network. And we're like, you know what? Let's test. Let's see if we compare against the other solutions in the market. We ran some tests. We did a better job. So in 2017, we launched Nora as a standalone.
Okay. Now, you would think if I was dealing with a reputable company like Google or Meta, they must do a wonderful job in preventing fraud on their own, right?
Each company has a different way of looking. It was actually a trade show, and I met the head of fraud detection at Google. And we had about 1,000 people working for him that were trying to solve fraud.
They actually have people working on this.
They have, according to him, 1,000 people working on this
I
problem.
want to see them. I don't believe it.
We were kind of in
I want to see 1,000.
So we basically sat and talked to him, and he said, well, how is it you're able to find something we miss? It's a small company. We're this massive conglomerate. And I go, sometimes you're too big for your own good. Like, there's a lot of moving parts. Not everybody knows what's going on. But I said, I think the secret is you look at Google's traffic. I look at everybody's traffic. So I'm not just looking at the traffic that takes place on Google.com. I'm looking at traffic that takes place across the entire internet. And that gives me access to data you don't have.
So tell me about your fraud solution. How does it work?
It's simple. You drop a piece of code, a piece of code on the landing page, and as soon as somebody comes on the page, it clicks over 800 data points on the user environment. So hardware, software, plugins, everything they have about their environment, ships it back to us. We look at it, and we know what looks right and what looks wrong, and then we can give you definitive answers and say, oh, this guy's fraud.
Now, is fraud actually a problem? Like, if I'm using Google, do I need a tool like this? Or if I'm using Facebook, do I need a tool like this? Because my assessment was these guys do a great job. They're the biggest companies on earth. They're worth $1 trillion something. They have giant teams of smart engineers. I wouldn't even need this at all. That was my initial opinion on it, which turned out to be wrong. I mean, just dead wrong, so I'll throw that out there. But tell me what the problem is that you don't have a tool like yours, like a Google campaign or a Facebook campaign or TikTok campaign. What ends up happening?
So look at it this way. Last year, global society we spent over $750 billion in digital marketing. Based on our estimates, it's somewhere between 150 and 160 billion was lost. So it's not a question of if you have fraud, it's a question of how much fraud you have.
So is it only 20% of the total market share, or is it higher is the question?
Our average is typically about 25% roughly. Each is different. It's the highest amount of fraud you can have in a single channel. It's over 50% fraud.
Okay, define programmatic.
So the trade desk.
Okay.
If you're buying traffic, where you're buying banners, ads, videos, that is an average of 50% fraud.
Why is that so high?
It's an easy channel to target. Most people are not doing performance marketing where they can actually track conversion value on those campaigns. They're just branding campaigns. Okay. It's very difficult to track performance. So, but if you look at Google has probably on average about 8 to 10% fraud. Facebook, 8 to 10% fraud, got the same thing. But if you think about Facebook, right? Do they have Facebook profiles? We all know they do.
I mean, I can tell you, when I launched my ad account on Facebook, the first thing that happened was I started getting text message, email after email in Facebook Messenger. And it was like, I'm calling from the Facebook, I'm writing you from the Facebook fraud department. There are problems with your account. Please click this link right away. And I was saying, why the hell am I getting these emails? And it's like, those are all guys just trying to do it. Don't click on any of those. And I got about 30 of them. And I just launched a brand new account. It's the first time I've ever used it. And I get 30 fraudulent emails sent to me in the messenger thing that all look the same that they can catch.
Yep.
And then we had a bunch of, ghost calls that were on there. We were getting called by numbers, and they weren't actually calling us. We called the guys back, and they didn't call you. I called some of them myself. I didn't believe them.
Yep.
And how the hell could we have someone fill out a form or call us? And
It's not that person. It would be for me to jump on Facebook right now, come across, put your information.
now make it make sense for me. Why are people doing this?
But
How are they making money off it?
every channel's a little bit. Some channels get paid, like obviously affiliates obviously get traffic.
Yep.
So it makes sense that they get paid for driving traffic to your site. But if you something like a Facebook doesn't have publishers. Facebook doesn't pay people for traffic. It's all user-generated content. But they have fake profiles. And if you go to Fiverr, you can buy 10,000 likes to your Facebook page for $10, $100, whatever it is. So they use fake profiles to make money indirectly. So anytime I look at fraud, whether it's like malware, human fraud farm,
Why are they filling out my ad forms online though on Facebook?
to make it look like their account is real? Because they know the account, so many interactions, that's how a real person looks. If you had if Facebook had an account that was interacting with ads but wasn't filling out forms, it would know it's fake, because that's not the user behavior. And you shut that account down. But if it's on the occasion they're filling out a form, they're interacting with ads, they're doing what we expect them to do, it's not.
How are you able to catch them when Facebook and Google are missing them?
Again, I just think it's longer than most companies have done for over 20 years. And we have access to data that, again, Facebook looks at just Facebook data. Google looks at just Google data. We look at all the data, and we're able to put those patterns together and recognize different levels of fraud.
What's a fraud pattern look like?
I'll give you an example. So let's say a typical fraud solution looks at the IP address, right? Always hearing about the keys and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, we had to shut off all the traffic from all the data centers.
Right. Good example.
Every VPN piece of traffic.
So let's say you
it was
got,
all-
let's say you got an IP address and you scanned it and it came out to a Starbucks. We can't block Starbucks, right? Because Starbucks is real. That people going in and out of that all day long. So let's say you scan their user agent and you identified that it's an iPhone 17. Everything looks good. You would normally say, hey, this visitor is real, let him through. Our software comes along and scans all kinds of data, and one of the data points we identify is they don't have a touchscreen.
Ooh.
Every iPhone has a touchscreen.
Yeah, so if they don't have a touch screen, it just means they're cloning them at some server farm
It could be-
offshore somewhere.
Yep, and they're bouncing off of the Starbucks IP address. So you can't block the IP address because real people are there, but you can block that device or you can block that user, and that's what we do.
So you're looking for the screens. What else are you looking at?
800
What-
data points.
What are the top ones that you're doing that you think other guys aren't?
That's secret sauce.
You can't give me the secret sauce?
I gave you one good point because I know a lot of my competitors are looking at that point. That's one point.
Okay, I don't want to give
one,
away too much of
Yeah.
your secret sauce to your competitors
We
here.
want to look at one data point that we can share that if they're not looking at, they can look at. I don't care. But because we have clients that ask, hey, give me an example. So that's a real world example. It makes a lot of sense. People understand that.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine a iPhone without a screen being used at a Starbucks.
Yeah. I had a client. I'll give you a little insight. You were a client of ours. They left to go to another company for one reason or another. And they call us back 6 months later and like, all right, we got to talk. This other solution just isn't working. So we lit up a test just to compare apples to apples. One of the questions was, how are you catching so much more fraud than the other guys? Because they were not just testing us, they were testing 2 or 3 other solutions besides the one they had. So they brought us an example. I said, okay, I want you to look at this example and tell me what's going on. And because they represent a lot of money, they have no complaints. What's going on with the traffic? You marked 20% fraud. So we looked at it and we identified all the traffic's coming from mobile devices, and every single one of those devices was being remote controlled by a single MacBook Pro. So he said, send me the paperwork. Because there was enough proof. And we have these conversations with our clients because it's not like in a podcast setting where it's out to our competitors, but we can get into details and we'll go in a little bit more depth with our clients because we want them to feel comfortable with our decisions.
Give me some of the war stories. Tell me what are the worst security things that you've seen?
I'll give you a creative one. That dates, it's probably about 10, 12 years old.
Okay.
But this was back in the day when, remember when you click on a browser, when you click something, you hear an actual audible click noise?
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, it went away. I like that. It just reminded me that you actually physically clicked on something.
Yeah, I'm sure it worked.
But back then they had that. So we had a source of traffic coming into the network. We knew it was fraud. We just couldn't figure out what was causing it. So one of my partners was sitting there looking at, so we went to one of the pages where the software was running, playing around, and he clicked on a link, and we heard click, click. I'm like, did you click on something twice? He goes, no. I did it again. Went back to the system, clicked on the same link, click, click. I'm like, that's not right. There's something's going on there. Let's look. Long story short, we found out that the fraudster put software on that site and took an iframe, just to give an iframe so people know what an iframe is. Iframe kind of looks through your web page, looks at a page behind it. It's kind of a good visualization about it. So what it was doing was it had the page that they were trying to commit fraud on behind it in an iframe as a 1x1 pixel so you couldn't see it. And they were able to pin it to the mouse. So as the mouse pointer was moving around, it was moving around this other page. Human behavior looked real. And then when you clicked, it slid the page up to a link that they wanted you to click on. And they were able to have the click happen on both the click that the visitor was clicking on and the click behind it. And it was committing fraud on the page that you didn't even know about. The only sign we were able to find out was click, click.
Click, click was the only way that you caught it.
It's the only way we caught it.
What's coming next?
AI.
Tell me about it.
So,
Tell me, what are you doing with AI? AI is kind of a broad topic
right
here.
So we found in Q3 an AI-assisted bot. So the bot was taking advantage of AI to iterate itself every single time it was running. So it was running thousands of times and updating itself to try to get around systems.
With OpenClaw and stuff now, you can just restart.
Oh yeah, it's easy to do. And they got around every fraud solution in the market, including us. This is Q3 of last year. So as soon as we found out about it, our team went to work to try to figure out what they did. They didn't get around our technology. They got around JavaScript because all of these technologies use JavaScript to scan a user. So we went to work on it. In fact, that quarter, in fourth quarter, we went to Affiliate World out in Bangkok. And there were two companies out there selling fraudulent traffic that gets around all invalid traffic solutions.
Really?
They knew they had it, and they were selling it. And it took us about 3 months to rewrite our system and to secure it. Secured it and rolled it out. And to this day, we're still clients that have tested other solutions tell us we're the only ones catching this new type of fraud.
Huh. Are you concerned about Mythos?
No.
Not at all?
I mean,
72,000 zero-day exploits that I found.
There's always something to be concerned about, but we feel very confident in what we've built with this new version that we can stop most anything we say.
All right. Any last thoughts that you want to leave us with? Anything that people should know about you or Anora?
I tell everyone this. If you're spending money on digital marketing, you have a fraud problem, you just know how big it is. One of the things we do for people who don't know is we offer a free traffic quality assessment. So we can actually show them how much fraud they have, where it's coming from, and then they can decide if they want to work with us or not. But at least they can understand the size of the problem they're dealing with.
I can tell you my fraud problem was a hell of a lot more than 10% on Google.
I actually scanned one person at 90% fraud on Google.
I think we were close to 100.
That's possible.
I mean, someone put a click farm on us, and we were getting thousands and thousands of visitors coming in, and they were all coming from these weird AWS data centers. Yep. And it took a while to figure it out.
I've seen those.
Google is not concerned that all of our people are coming from an AWS, but no. No, nope. Someone put a bot on us.
Yeah. And it's easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And getting easier, right? With Claude Coda, you could probably spin one up in about 10 minutes.
There's actually one designed specifically for it. If you go to the dark web and search for fraud GPT, there's an actual version of GPT that builds fraudulent bots.
Really?
and you just tell it what you want it to do. It'll build it, and then if you don't know how to deploy it, it'll tell you how to deploy it.
Called Fraud GBT. There's actually a Fraud GBT.
Yeah, it's out there.
And it just makes fraud bots.
Makes fraud bots.
How are they making money on this? Or someone's like,
I think it's open source.
I think I just want to make the world a little bit worse. Like, just a slightly worse place.
We downloaded it to take a look at it to see what it was doing, but it essentially was free. Open source.
Wow. All right, so you don't think the problem's going away of fraud? Is that what you're telling me?
It's not going away. It's growing every year. We're just trying to help our clients one client at a time.
Yeah, try to make it so you're not wasting all your advertising. That's why this whole industry exists, right? If it was just easy to run ads on Google and Facebook and TikTok and all the other...
You wouldn't need this industry.
This industry would not exist at all, but it's so difficult to make that stuff work right that you actually have to have specialists. So
it's crazy. It shouldn't have to be that way, but
it shouldn't have to be that way, but it is.
Yeah. So that's why we exist. Because if it was easy, then I wouldn't exist either, right?
Yeah. If this was easy, I wouldn't exist either. I mean, it's good that it's somewhat difficult, I guess. So
yeah.
Hey,
very cool.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Talk to the Future, where the future of sales isn't predicted, it's built. If you got value from this episode, make sure to subscribe, share it with your team, and stay connected for more conversations with the people driving what's next. Because what's working tomorrow is already being built today.